Hi, hello, and good evening. We are here with an emergency stream. There's been a lot of things going on since the airing of Sunday's episode. For all you people who watch the feeds, we know veto has already happened, the ceremony has happened, and there's been a lot to discuss. It's getting late though, so we want to have a quick chat. A quick chat.
Quick in and out.
I am Kyle Petty, and I am joined, as always, by my festy besties, John Dunphy and Gina Morgino. And this is Strat Chat. You can find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. We are here just to kind of recap some of the things that's been going on the feeds. I've just been reading a lot of things from Twitter. I know that Gina has been a little bit more tuned in, so let's just bring you up to date. If you are here with us tonight, you should have already seen Sunday night's episode where we saw Cedric win HOH, and he nominated Angela, Tucker, and Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really how things ended as the rest of us now know it. So I'll give you a quick rundown, and I'm hoping that other people can kind of give us some context around the rest of this.
Sure.
So veto happens and Tucker wins, right? So congratulations to Tucker, hot as hell, doing a really great job on. Naturally, very excited to have him in the house. I mean, Team Fun Feeds for sure. Also, just playing the game in a very unconventional way, just very much like balls to the wall, which has been very, very exciting to watch. Certainly not the more predictable nature that we're used to.
I have been giggling at I really like puzzles since it happened. I've thought about it every day since.
Yeah. Is his whole game just being like an agent of chaos? I don't necessarily. I think it could catch up with him, but like I feel like right now it's good because nobody can figure out what the hell he's doing.
Never let him know your next move.
He's keeping him so off balance that like nobody has any time to even look at him as a target.
Right, but I am starting to get a little concerned for him.
No, definitely.
Yeah, because I don't know if it's going to keep working in his favor.
People will get fed up with it.
Yeah. Well, he won veto and he took himself down. He did not take himself down. That's what should happen. That's just naturally.
Well, because that's what a normal person would
right. That's right. It's like it's already wrong. Tucker wins veto and removes Angela. All right, so Angela is now off the block. Which here's the concern that I have with this now. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be long. I don't care who you take. Well, I do care who you take off. I want you to take yourself off, because you are already starting to paint yourself as a target, and a rather formidable one at that.
And not to mention, this is the second time he's asked to be put on the block.
Right. You asked to be on the block. You won AI Arena and you took yourself down. Now you volunteer to be a pawn again and you win, but you don't take yourself down. So it's like, at what point are somebody going to like kind of sit back and say, you know what? Maybe
how
we should
cocky
be voting
can
Tucker
you
out.
be about your positioning to be like, yeah, you know what? Please put me on the block. Also, I'll stay there for eviction night. Like, come on.
Yeah, and that's kind of my concern here with this now. Is I feel like even if you like Tucker, it's going to get to a point where you're like, you know what? It doesn't make sense to me to keep him in here. He just keeps winning things. Shouldn't I get him out while he's on the block?
I also, if I was in there playing this game, we see so many people, right? They get pitched the idea. How many people did Cedric in this last episode pitch as like being pawns? And they all said no. And you see someone now that's so unbothered by going on the block that they volunteered to be up there twice in a row. Then in the week they actually win the veto, they decide not to take themselves down. They take Angela down. And I just don't understand the point of it, because if the point is to get somebody off the block to maybe put up a different target, why not just take yourself
Take
down?
yourself
It
down.
does
Yeah.
the same
Why
thing.
Angela?
Yeah.
Did you see anything like on the feeds or Twitter, anywhere that would have explained the thought process behind Tucker selecting Angela and not himself?
I don't know why specifically Angela as opposed to Kenny, but his
Because
whole
Kenny wants to go. Fuck Kenny.
well, yeah, that. But also Tucker's whole mindset is to try to use this as a way to blindside Quinn, because like his mindset is Quinn, which, to be clear, Quinn has absolutely been yapping when he shouldn't be yapping. He's telling, like, he's very openly talking about his power and who he's aligned with, but not with everybody. So, like, the people who he's not talking to about his power are now feeling like, well, maybe he's not really aligned with us. Does he have something to hide? Like, he's being kind of shady. So Tucker's thing is like, I want to expose Quinn's power and the fact that he's being shady. So his whole plan was, we'll take down Angela, have Cedric nominate Quinn in her place. I'll win the AI arena, and then we send Quinn out. Like, that's basically his whole, like, mindset as to how this is going to go.
So a lot of things have to go right in order for this to
Right.
actually
It has to be a perfect storm of a situation.
Yeah, I've seen some things. So I have not been able to get on feeds, unfortunately, much this week. But I've seen a lot of people talking about how Cedric knows about Quinn's power and has kind of tried to steer conversations in a way that hopefully Quinn would like own up to it. But Quinn has like so far refused to share it with him. Has that been the case?
Pretty much. Yeah, it's very strange, the lines that Quinn draws. Like,
Okay.
I don't know why you're not sharing this information. Like, if you're going to share it with some people, you have to assume it's going to come out, especially since, I think we talked about this last week, he was literally standing 2 feet away from Angela when she was telling Tucker that Quinn has the power. So, like, you already know that it's being talked about. You have to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why he's still choosing to, like, kind of keep it from people, or he was at least still choosing to kind of.
Yeah. And I just felt like, I guess I just would have thought that Quinn was smarter than like people clearly know you have this power. It might just be time to be honest with your allies.
It's not even just the power, though. Like, he is walking around telling people that he's not aligned with about other alliances that he is in. Like, 10 minutes before we started this stream, he was telling, I didn't see who it was, but telling somebody about the Pentagon, being like, oh, I owe you now. So here, I'm going to give you some information because I feel like you have my back in this game. So I'm going to show you that I trust you. Here's a bunch of people that I'm aligned with. And it's like, Quinn, just stop talking. Stop talking. You don't have to tell everybody everything.
Yeah. I'm surprised how much he's been talking to people. Like, just too much.
And do you, like, I know Kyle was a little bit more in tune with what was going on Twitter, but do you know, like, the results of the veto ceremony? Like, what ended up happening?
Yes,
Okay.
I do. Yes. Before we get that far, though, I do want to bring back, first of all, JD Glad, welcome to the chat. Feel like a new commenter, at least to me,
Yeah.
mentioning, Tucker picked Angela because he thought Kenny would be better in the AI comp to beat Quinn. I mean, that part of it is fine. I still think that Tucker still should have picked himself, regardless what's going on. Like, you should have just picked yourself and just get yourself safe. But like,
also, they've both won competitions, so there's no reason to believe that Kenny would be better than Angela.
Yeah, and like, so does that mean that Tucker was like super, super confident in the fact that Cedric would have put up Quinn?
Yes.
Because, and see, that was something that was missing for me. I didn't see any conversations or didn't even read any tweets that would have suggested that Cedric was really on board.
I don't remember if it was last night. I believe it was last night. There was a conversation in the HOH room where like Cedric brought in Quinn and Brooklyn and Chelsea, like brought in like that whole alliance and was like, hey, here's the thing. Tucker is trying to get me to put Quinn up. His whole plan is to not take himself down. He's going to take down Angela, and I'm supposed to put up Quinn. And here's how his plan is going to work. He's going to get everybody to vote Quinn out. Like, this whole thing is supposed to be a Quinn blindside, saying it like to Quinn and the rest of the Alliance, being like, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to put up somebody else. I don't want that to happen. That doesn't benefit me in any way. And I want to be honest with you guys and tell you that this is what's happening around the house and this is what he's trying to orchestrate. So there was like a whole big discussion of like, all right, what is our actual plan? Because Tucker thinks that I'm putting Quinn up.
Wow.
So who was it that actually spilled the beans on Quinn's power? It was definitely Tucker. Is that how that first came out? How did that start to
Well, Angela
grow legs?
Angela told Tucker.
Yeah.
But the problem is Quinn had also told Joseph, I believe. Like, he's told a couple of people. So, like, the fact that, like, more than just Angela knew about it, people were kind of able to, like, corroborate that it was Quinn.
Yikes. Now, did they know exactly what it is, or they just know that he has an upgrade?
I'm
That is
not
unclear.
sure, honestly. I don't know the details of who knows what. I don't know if Tucker knows what the power is or if other people do and they haven't told it. Like, I don't know a lot of those details about what specifically people know about it.
Okay.
But I think he's been trying to leverage with some people now. Like, next week, I will have control over the HOH no matter what. So, like, keep me here. And no matter who the actual HOH is, if I don't win it, like, I can still keep you safe because I have control over the HOH, even if I don't win it. So, like, at the very least, now people are kind of knowing what the details are, but I don't know if they were always known.
Yeah. Well, maybe JD Glad seems to be very plugged in.
Oh yeah, we
in
tuned
the
in.
chat there. So if JD Glad has any information, we would appreciate it.
Yeah, I know like pieces of things. I haven't like sat and watched everything.
Yeah, I think we just got the answer, by the way.
Well, first Matt added, Angela told Tucker. Tucker didn't believe Angela until Chemo confirmed it. But JD adds that they all know Quinn's full power now. Tucker did know, just not totally sure if he knew how many weeks the power was available.
Yeah.
I think for both of them, next week would have been the last week.
Well, okay. Well, thank you to Matt and JD.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also it's so funny because this power we've been talking about since the very beginning of the game.
Go on and take over.
And it's just funny to me because, like, if Quinn were to leave, do you think that there's a chance that the power would secretly be reintroduced to the game? Because I feel like I want to see this thing get used.
Yeah, I feel like because it was a limited time power.
Right, just the first 4 weeks, right?
And we've seen that happen before where people just don't use powers,
Yeah, and it's definitely a bummer. I guess this power in particular, I was really interested to see how it would play out.
Yeah.
Because I think it would have caused a lot of chaos. And I just feel like, Quinn, like, why did you tell Angela that in the beginning? What was that, day 3 or something?
It was really early. Because it was even before like her blow up at Matt. Because if that had happened, he wouldn't have told her anything.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But it's not even just the Angela thing. It's like he's very loose-lipped about all of his positioning in this game, and it's like, Quinn, I beg of you to stop yapping for like 2 seconds, because now, like, especially considering like some of the people that he didn't tell about the power are the people that he considers himself to be the most closely aligned with, who now are going to have their trust in him falter because he didn't share this key piece of information. And if he were smarter about the way he was going about it, he would be using it as leverage to the people he was telling the power, like to the people he was talking to about the power, in a way that was like, hey, this is the power, this is what I'm able to do, I will keep you safe with it because I have control over everything. I control the entire HOH and I will not put you up. Keep this secret for me. We're now working together. I'm going to make sure you don't go home.
Yeah.
But he just was giving out information as a way to kind of gain trust with people, gave it to the wrong people, and didn't use it to his advantage.
Yeah, it's just very sloppy for someone that I thought was going to be like way more like.
He's stressing me out, man.
I thought he was going to be way more. Yeah, I thought it was going to be way more just very measured and calculated. So, yeah.
To be clear, I still love Quinn. I just want to slap him across the head a little bit.
No, listen, I still really like Quinn. He generally seems like a good person. I think that and that's the thing, he is very likable. And so I feel like people have been drawn to him, and that's why maybe he's talking sometimes when he should, or at least sharing information he shouldn't, because people feel comfortable around him, and then he gets comfortable around them, and then he starts sharing too much. And I just thought he just seemed like he was going to be a very smart game player, so I thought he would have been able to control that a little bit more. But
I'm really surprised that somebody who is as big of a super fan as he is making this mistake of being so open with information.
yeah. And like this kind of information, like I almost think it's one thing to drop a few nuggets about an alliance here, an alliance there, but to literally blow up the fact that you have this power to somebody so early on. I mean, none of us could have known that Angela was going to have the blow up that she did. But regardless,
but you shouldn't
of that,
trust anybody that early.
That first week, you're already telling people about this power that you have. Like, I feel like there's a difference between like planting little seeds with people about maybe this person's working with that person or whatever, like, but to tell somebody about a power that you have that lets you literally control the HOH from the background.
Yep.
That just seems like that is a lot to tell somebody that you don't know 2-3 days in. Like, share certain information, keep some other to yourself. Like, even I wouldn't even fault Mackenzie, and we know that she has shared it with people now, but I would be more willing to kind of let that out. Like, I have America's veto, because you can use that too, like to in certain ways.
Mackenzie has been sharing that power, but she's been very careful about the way she shares it, because she's been telling people, I have the power to save myself from the block after final nominations, and the HOH doesn't have control over who goes up. She didn't say she could save anybody. She didn't say that America votes the next nominee. She just says, I have control over the veto if I can save myself, and the HOH can't control who goes up.
Yeah,
so she's been really intentional about the parts of that she's leaving out.
She has been very careful. I do remember at least one conversation. I don't remember who it was with, if it was on feeds or in the episode, but I do remember her saying to at least one person that the power allows her to save herself or someone else if she's not actually up. I remember her saying that to someone. But again, I still think it was very, very like careful of her. Like, she didn't present the power in any kind of threatening way. Like, oh, if you try to do this, then watch out, because I'm gonna take myself down, or I'm gonna do this, or you're gonna be in trouble. You don't have the power to name the renom. Like, she doesn't do it in a threatening way. She goes, I have a power. It allows me to save myself or someone else if I'm not there. That's all she said. She didn't like use it in a way that like made the HOH or whoever she was talking to feel like, oh, I got to watch out for Mackenzie. Like, so yeah.
I'd like to double back, if I may.
Of course.
I want to defend Quinn just a shade, and some of the sharing of this information. I think that we got stuck a little bit. I think we put a little bit more trust in Angela in the beginning than we should have. Like, I definitely agree that you should not be sharing that kind of information with anyone that early on. Mm-hmm. But I do think there's also a world in which we might do that if we think that it would really solidify us as a solid final two. Like, I'm giving you this so that you understand, because really trust is what is currency. If you don't really understand that I'm really dialed into this thing, not realizing that it was an absolute, like, just a flarn in judgment to try and give that to Angela. But had you given that to the right person, like a T-Core, or even a Chelsea, if you would have given one of them that information, they wouldn't have shared that, because they would have seen the value in keeping that a secret too.
Well, the problem too is, like, I don't remember if it was before or after the Matt blow up. The timeline is kind of fuzzy, but he had also week one shared the power with, and I don't remember if it was Joseph or Chemo, but somebody else that he had also given that same information to. We just didn't see it in the edit. But like, you're trusting two people right off the bat with this huge piece of information.
Yeah.
Like, he's
yeah, it was too much. It was definitely too much.
We've seen him too in cam talks, look at the camera being like, if I could just shut the fuck up. Because even he knows, like, I can't stop talking. I'm just telling people things, and I know I'm not supposed to, but I literally can't stop talking.
Yeah. No, I think, Kyle, you are definitely partially right, because I think that in different circumstances, we could see a totally different situation where maybe Quinn is in trouble, but because he happened to tell this other person about his power, they went to bat for him and saved him because they trusted him. Like it really is a tough, tough thing to sort of balance.
And
but
because of that, I'm not sure that I would have made that decision so soon. Like I still am more on that side.
Yeah.
Right. I do think Gene is correct when you combine the fact that he told not only Angela, but then Chemo and whoever else. Like that does make it worse. I also want to thank JD Glad once again, because for keeping us honest.
Treasure trove of information.
Yeah, because I did forget about this, that MJ did kind of tell Cedric that if he nominated her, she would save herself with the power and then target him in the game. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about how careful she was and how she was explaining it. So I did forget about that conversation between MJ and Cedric. So, which is like similar to what Matt did to Angela, isn't it? If you nominate me, someone's going to save me, or I'll take myself down, and then I'm coming for you.
Did we actually discuss the fact that MJ is the renom? Oh, okay. Well, there it is.
Wow.
If you don't know, now you know.
Yeah, Cedric's little gotcha was, instead of putting Quinn up, I said I was going to, I'm going to put up MJ and blindside Tucker. Now, the problem with that is that now America has the ability to cash the renom. And from what I'm seeing, people still want it to be Quinn, which is a problem for me, but also a problem for Quinn. This did not go the way it was supposed to go.
Wow, so people want Quinn. But see, that's just what we say on Twitter. I'd be really curious to see what the casuals think.
Right.
I don't know why also BB Twitter is so anti-Quinn. I agree that he's making dumb decisions, but I adore him. Why are we hating on Quinn?
Yeah, people really don't like him.
I don't get it.
I am certainly.
They hate his DRs.
Yeah.
I changed my name for this.
I will say.
Matthew, absolutely not.
That's another popular one, though.
You know what? I don't understand.
I don't like the mustache either, but I would.
Listen, there is nothing wrong with a good mustache, okay? All right, everyone needs to get off of Joseph for his mustache.
But that's the other name that I'm seeing people float around that they want to vote for. Quinn is kind of the overwhelming majority on Twitter, at least, but a lot of people want to see.
I don't know who I'm going to vote for.
I still like Quinn very much, but I will say that in this episode, I was catching up on last night's episode today because I had to watch House of the Dragon live last night for the season finale, but. I liked it, so I'll give it a thumbs up. But I feel like I don't remember what I was going to say now.
You watched last night's episode
about Joseph? Today.
Joseph's mustache. Quinn. Oh, I still like him, but watching the most recent episode, I felt like with Quinn, I feel like he's yelling at me when he's in the DR. I feel like he's always yelling.
It doesn't bother me because I think he's silly.
But yeah, I don't know. Quinn could be in trouble. I guess Joseph.
I'm really stressed out. I'm really
worried.
And his
mustache could be in trouble. I think that Cedric's in trouble though too here. I think that this seems a little crazy. You could have just put Quinn up there, and instead you might. Good. You're flushing out the power. I suppose that's good. But is it good for Cedric because MJ's not going home? Quinn probably goes up anyway, and now you got people working with you going, why didn't you just put up Quinn?
And that's what I don't know why Cedric chanced it with specifically Mackenzie. There were other options of people that he could have put up instead of Quinn. I don't know why he chanced it. You know she was just going to take herself right off.
Yeah, I don't know what that was supposed to be.
I don't know.
Who did that serve?
Is he hoping maybe that people will maybe now look on him with favor because he was the one that flushed out the power? So let's protect Cedric. Maybe that's a thought in his mind.
Could be.
I have to assume that this is the case, but just for the sake of asking it, I assume Angela's not eligible to be voted by America, right?
That's what I believe.
Okay.
She's not eligible. So Cedric, Angela, and Mackenzie, not available.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenny and Tucker.
Well, they're already there.
Because they're already on the block. So anyone else, though, in the house? Well, what I said was just as obvious as what you said.
Well, because we were talking about who's ineligible, so I was just giving the final list. But like,
Well, so
I
was
mean, of
I.
course, I know, but of course, the people that are like currently on the block are not eligible
I
for
was just
two
finishing the
nominations.
list. I was just finishing the list of all of the ineligible people. Okay.
I know you said it as if I missed like major
Well, I mean,
names.
you said Cedric. Of course, he's not eligible. He's the HOH. So, like, why is what I said any crazier than the HOH being
Well, because
nominated?
yours was still an add-on. Like it wasn't like mine was the final statement, and you added it on as if something was
Well,
missed.
clearly, it wasn't the
So
final
that's all.
statement if you hadn't named everybody that was ineligible.
Anyway, so that's what's going up. So who are you voting for?
Oh God.
I might vote for Quinn just to really grind
No.
Gina's gears.
No, don't do
Wow.
that. You can bet your bottom dollar I will not be voting for Quinn.
The only bummer if Quinn goes though is that that's a really really awesome twist that I wanted to see play
I
out.
know,
I
yeah, we were
wanted to see
talking.
the
Yeah,
whole AI thing happen. I actually would have liked to see that go down.
well, I was telling Gina, like, in the event that that does happen, do you think there's any way that they could somehow reintroduce this power into the game? Because I'm dying to see it actually play out, and it would
I
just
mean,
go down as another flop.
yeah, I mean, you saw multiple like Pandora's boxes, in some other seasons. So like, why not? You can pull it out and just let it be a secret.
Yeah.
My biggest issue with if Quinn goes up and ends up going out is like there are, we see Kenny who's asked to go home every day since he got there. And then there are multiple people in the house that are kind of giving like there are multiple people in the house that are kind of just like existing. And Quinn is somebody that, like, for better or for worse, is really hardcore, like, here to play the game and to, like, try. So to see a super fan who's, like, really actively trying to play go home over somebody who's asked to be sent home and people who are just kind of, like, hanging out would be a huge bummer.
Who do you consider the floaters, the hangers, the hanger outers?
Thing too.
I feel like we don't hear a lot from Leah. We don't hear a lot from Brooklyn. We don't hear a lot from Cam. Like, they're just the people who are just kind of there.
Well,
right
Brooklyn's in the Pentagon, right? So at least she's like doing something.
Yeah, but like she just because she's in an alliance doesn't mean she's contributing to it. Like,
She
she's just
has
kind
acknowledged
of there.
that she is probably the fifth, right, in the Pentagon. She has acknowledged.
Mhm.
But I mean, even that though is a sign that she's aware, I feel like, of what's going on and somewhat playing the game. Leah, I agree with. I feel like all we've gotten from Leah lately is that showman segment talking about who's into who or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Like,
which I did think. I normally don't like showman segments, but that did make me giggle. I like that.
yeah. I mean, I'll say, like, and JD Glad just commented this, like, my first choice, honestly, like, would be Kenny getting evicted. Not necessarily for Joseph to go up.
Yeah.
I'm whatever on Joseph, but like, Kenny has asked to leave enough times that I'm like, all right, you don't deserve to be there anymore.
It's just so annoying because it's like, I know he would have self-evicted by now if he didn't know that he wouldn't get his stipend if he took himself out. So he's literally just been walking around. He literally took himself off the block with the veto last week and then walked around the rest of the week being like, oh, I wish I was still on the block. It's like, what? Go home. Just go. Get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. Get out.
You're just taking up space. Like, go.
Yeah.
At least he does still sort of play though. Like he
Yeah,
is still competing. Like he's still like somewhat participating.
No, you
Like,
are
it's
right,
not-
because he could have thrown that veto comp that he won. So you are right.
Yeah, it's not a complete quit. So it's like I have a little bit more tolerance for it. I would rather just see him go, so it's not really a thought in my mind. Like I really just want to watch this game play out with people who I know genuinely want to be there. It just
Right.
obviously that adds something.
Right.
But like, I do respect the fact that at least while he's there, he is still kind of in it. So at least we'll give him that. Frank had a comment here that I kind of thought was interesting. And I hadn't really given it any thought, saying like these house guests need to read between the lines, because if America puts up Quinn, then America's kind of hinting that he's doing the house guests dirty. And do you think that this cast necessarily would even pick up on that? I think a Chelsea might.
I mean, the only thing that I haven't been as glued into feeds, but like now that they know how MJ's power works, because obviously there was no renom, and they by now know that like it's going to be a vote. But I heard, I think it was Joseph saying something to the effect of like, oh, well, it's just going to be people that aren't featured a lot. Like whoever's like in the edit the least is just going to get put up. So like if you get put up, you know that like you're not really like a part of the show. It's like, what? Like, how is that your read?
You know, I could see that being your read if you think that people are voting for who they want to be safe. If you're voting for who you want to go up, then you're probably a prominent person, because this takes an action, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to actively vote for Brooklyn. I've seen nothing of her. I'm not going to actively vote for Rubina. I can't even say that I'm standing her, but like, I'm not going to actively say I need her up. It's going to be somebody who I find irritating. So that means you are a central character.
Right. And like
you're at the
for
forefront of
that
my mind.
reason, if I was the person that America voted to go, it would send me into a freaking tailspin, because I would now be spending the rest of the game, instead of focusing on what I think is best for my game and the moves that I want to make and the way that I want to navigate through the house, all I'm thinking about is my perception.
Mm-hmm.
What are people thinking about me?
No, you're right, because like it's so like the paranoia is already so bad in there, and like you're like
Right.
there are people. I mean, some people. I mean, I guess you get used to it as you go, and you become a little bit oblivious to it. But like, people are in there conscious of the cameras and the feeds and what they're saying, because people are watching all the time. And it's like, if America, for some reason, voted for me, who was just perfectly fine and safe, and they voted for me.
I'm no longer
to go on the block,
yeah.
possibly to be evicted. I would be sitting there like
heartbroken.
I would be hitting that button to go into the diary room. I'd say, I have to go home right now. I have to talk to my mom. What are the people saying about me? What is happening?
What happened?
Why does America want me to leave? Why do they want me to leave?
I think it was Corey from last season had tweeted something either earlier today or last night too, being like, you have to understand what this does to people. He's like, because when I was in the house, he's like, I went into the house with a plan of like, as a super fan, this is how I think I want to navigate through the game. And then I spent the entire season constantly anxious about how I was being perceived by the fan base, because I have been on Big Brother Twitter. I have been in the forums and I know how people are. Mm-hmm. So instead of focusing on what moves I want to make, I'm thinking, all right, well, if I do this, what would they say? If I do that, what would they say? If I do this, what are they going to say? But like, what are they going to think about me? And he's like, that confirmation of knowing that America chose me to have a disadvantage would have ruined me in this game.
It brings me back to Julie's exit interview with Cornbread.
Oh my God.
Coming out of like Big Brother Over the Top.
Not Cornbread.
Like, I can't believe it. Like, damn, America. It's like, I know I do not have the constitution for any of this. I would absolutely die if America like voted for something bad to happen to me. I would just keep crying. Like, it would be such a disaster.
That's what the fan base perception is specifically the reason why I have not applied to be on Big Brother, because I would be the person crying in the DR being like, dude, they hate me, because like I couldn't handle it.
So funny.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, that's that. That's what our knowledge of the feeds, right? Is there anything else that like we didn't hop into?
That's what I know as of now.
I'm sure there is a little bit more that has happened since, we last tuned in.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of just like important things, I think that's all I really know.
Yeah.
So as the block stands, it's Tucker, Kenny, and MJ, but we know MJ's coming down because America's veto is being used. We don't know what's going to happen. I love that we're going into Thursday with a lot of excitement. We don't
even know who's on the block, yeah.
Right, yes. I mean, we're going to be voting feverishly. Wednesday into Thursday. Yeah. And then we get the live, I'm guessing it has to be, right? This is the only way for this to go. Live veto results, live AI arena, and an eviction. Julie better be wearing her Sunday best, okay? Because this is the episode. Let's go.
Actually, can I ask?
This is it. This is it.
Has has anyone here, the three of us, have any of us given Julie even a single hot yet this season? I know I haven't. I've given her
I did
two.
on premiere night. I think me and Kyle both did on premiere night.
I've given her 2 tepids and a not, I think. So
Actually, wait.
Actually, she might have gotten a tepid at premiere. She might.
Yeah, she might have actually.
I know that I have not given
I
her
don't
a hot.
remember.
So I'm curious to know if this is the longest we've gone into a season without Julie receiving a hot.
I don't
What do you need
remember.
to see from Julie this week to get your hot?
I'm gonna need something real nice, like a nice, like purple, just a beautiful gown, hair just on point. You know,
How
some
do
very
you want the hair though? I want it full and crunchy.
yes, that's exactly what I
Yes.
want as well.
Crunchy.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm thinking some very nice, like classy, very tasteful, like silver jewelry.
Yes, I want jewels. I
yeah.
want jewels. I want like, I don't know what they're called, but those kinds of necklaces that are like just one size here, another size, and it's like a whole like
Yeah.
Oh, like the
Yeah.
like the statement, like yeah.
Yes. Maybe
all diamonds, just
Oh,
diamonds.
100%. Maybe even like a backless dress, even.
Oh yes,
You know?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I want to see some skin, but I want it to be tasteful.
Yes.
Because she is still a lady of God, and I want big crunchy hair.
But
And I
what
want
if,
her to know what show it is. I don't want her to say
hear
"Welcome
me
to
out.
our show."
Hear me out. What if she wears denim?
Unacceptable.
Acceptable, yeah.
That's completely unacceptable.
Yeah, if
you
she
wear
comes
denim
out-
on a
yeah.
week that like you just know everything's set up, there's been nothing exciting. You know what's going on. We know that you just swung by right after the barbecue, right? Like that's what denim is fine for. When a predictable week, you cannot go into all of this live action. There is way too much going on. Like we need this is like a pre-finale almost kind of a mood, the excitement is going to be high, the energy is up, adrenaline is pumping. Okay?
Yeah, one of these powers is being
Don't
used.
you dare come out in Levi's. That it's completely unacceptable for a night like this.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I completely
Some
agree.
people wait a lifetime
I just
for a moment like this.
come on, Kelly.
Oh God.
I just know that you're both a big fan of when Julie wears denim, so I just needed to find that's
Completely
pulse.
unacceptable.
No,
Unacceptable.
that's
I can't wear denim
that's
to work.
trash. Neither can I.
Yeah.
I
How
wear a
dare
suit.
you?
I wear a suit every night when I go to work.
How dare you?
Showing up in jeans.
Exactly. Put on your good clothes.
Yeah.
Would you show up on Sunday morning in denim? You don't show up here like that. This is your job. This is your job.
Yes. You're professional. Act like it.
This is season 26.
I have one other thought. It's very stupid. Very quick. I've been seeing people. It might not matter either because Tucker didn't use the veto on himself, so he's still up there, and maybe he'll get voted out. Who knows?
Oh my God.
But
So
I've
scared.
seen people on Twitter talking about this Tucker Rabina situation and calling it Tubina.
Tubina.
And I'm sorry, we just have to come up with a better name. That's
You don't like it?
that is awful.
What would you prefer, rocker?
Listen. I'm not saying that I have the answer. I'm not saying that I have the solution. But as a collective group, we have to do better than Tubina. Come on. I'm sorry. Like there's creative people out there. There's a solution to this. That's it. That's all I wanted to say.
I kind of don't hate Tubina. I don't love it.
Ugh.
It's I don't approve of it so much that I would go to the polls.
Matt has a suggestion.
Rubucker.
Rubucker. All right.
I mean, I guess that's better than rocker.
I honestly like Rubucker better than Tubina. I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
it's fun to say. It makes me giggle. Tubina just makes me think of like a tube of beans or something. Like
Tubina just makes me think of like Tubi, like the channel.
All right.
All right. Well, we've had enough. So what do we have going on this week? We are going to be here back for real Thursday at 9:15 ish. All right, following the eviction and AI Arena and veto results. All right, so much to do on Thursday. And then we do Claim to Fame usually on Mondays. That's our Monday at 9:30 thing. And at some point, we'll be weaving in the Challenge 40. All right, so lots of things to get into here at the Strat Chat, and you can find out more about that if you follow us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. Thanks for hanging out with us for this impromptu stream. Very fun. And yeah, thanks again.